There's a short poem that I'd love to read to you. It's called The Tapestry and was written by an amazing woman by the name of Corrie Ten Boom. Now, Corrie Ten Boom is a woman that was imprisoned by the Gestapo in Ravensbruck concentration camp during World War II because she was found helping save many Jews from the Holocaust. And she was imprisoned along with her father and her sister, but she was the one that survived. And in her book, The Hiding Place, she describes the extraordinary conditions that she experienced while being in the concentration camp. But she also goes on to describe that life is a bit like a tapestry. Now, if you're not familiar with what a tapestry is, it's a heavy cloth that has a picture woven into it, and it's usually used as wall art. So she describes that life is like the underside of a tapestry, where oftentimes we can't make sense of where our life brings us, or the events that we experience, or the people that we encounter. It's not until we turn the tapestry over and see the amazing picture that has been woven by our life that we truly get a glimpse of the amazement and the wonderment of it all. Now, to really get a deeper sense of Corrie Ten Boom and what comes through in this poem, you would really need to read the book, The Hiding Place. But here's her poem. My life is but a weaving between my God and me. I cannot choose the colours, he weaveth steadily. Oft times he weaveth sorrow, and I in foolish pride forget he sees the upper, and I the underside. Not till the loom is silent and the shuttles cease to fly will God unroll the canvas and reveal the reason why. The dark threads are as needful in the weaver's skillful hand as the threads of gold and silver in the pattern he has planned. He knows, he loves, he cares. Nothing this truth can dim. He gives the very best to those who leave the choice to him. Now, there's so much in that short poem, but something came up that prompted me to share it with you on this podcast. And it's actually so relevant during the current time and from all the events that have taken place and gone on this year so far. So let me explain one element. You see, I believe that one of the reasons we are here is to experience. To be in the moment of what is happening and just experience. It's from experiencing that comes the learning and how you evolve as a soul. And to really understand experiences, you have to understand contrasts. So what do I mean by contrasts? Well, you can't experience cold without first experiencing heat. To really know what heat is like, you need to know what cold is like. You can imagine it all you like, but to really experience it, you need to experience its opposite. Likewise, you can't experience love without first experiencing neglect. Equally, you can't experience silence without experiencing sound. You can't experience darkness without first experiencing light. And equally, you can't experience light without first experiencing darkness. You see, we need to have contrast in order to know the experience. And we need to experience both sides, again, the law of duality. Otherwise, it will be a bit like a fish in water that hasn't been on land. Do they really know that they're in water if they haven't experienced being on land? If there was no suffering in the world, how else would we know what it's like to suffer? What else would give us the drive to do something better for those that are suffering? Otherwise, we wouldn't have contrast in our lives and seek better for ourselves, for others, and be able to give gratitude for what we do have. What most of us want to do when a negative event happens in our lives is to pass through it as quickly as possible, to stop being unloved and to start being loved, to stop grieving the loss of a loved one and to start living, to stop being depressed and to get being happy, to stop being financially insecure and to start being financially secure. It's the state of being that we are seeking, yet it's this state of being that we first need to experience. If we force ourselves to rush through it, we lose the experience. We don't fully experience. We're not fully being. Our thoughts are focused on getting through it as quickly as possible without actually knowing, feeling, experiencing what it's really like, and to garner as much learning as possible from the experience. It's with these learnings that we're here to help others, because we know what it's like for ourselves. If we don't learn, then we have to experience it again and again until we do learn and experience it fully. I remember working with a client a number of years ago that was a funeral director. His name is George, and he's a really genuine person. And as part of one of our conversations over staff and other business-related matters, he talked about needing more staff and the fact that it is better to have somebody that has experienced the loss of a loved one in order to work as a funeral director. And the reason being is that there's much more compassion and empathy given when somebody has experienced such a loss. Now, having lost my own brother, I could relate to what he was saying. Likewise, if you know what the experience is like, to feel the emotions, then you know what it's like for others. All that you experience will be of help to you as you go through your life, but also to the people that you come across. You'll be able to relate to them on a deeper level. Now, I've come across many clients that have had difficult situations to experience. If I didn't know what it was like to go through similar situations to my clients, in the same way as my funeral director client, I too wouldn't have been able to help my clients on a deeper level, or to be able to empathise with them and bring them through it, to show them a route to be able to come out of their own desperate situations. Now, do I wish I had gone through life without having the negative experiences I had as a child or as I was growing up and going through my career and business life? On one level, absolutely yes, as it would have been a much easier life in some respects. But then on another level, absolutely and unreservedly no. Being in dark places and facing extreme situations, I felt trapped and not in control. I felt I was just on a treadmill and often contemplated what the point of it all was. The only person I could blame was myself, for being a fool for having gotten myself into such situations. In my mind, nobody else cared and nobody else understood the aching pain that was being experienced. And as I went through life fearing being found out of what was really going on inside, the pain got worse because now I'm not being true to myself or to others. I felt like a fraud, I felt like an imposter, putting on a brave face for family, friends, colleagues and clients. But deep down within, I was crumbling and dying. I couldn't seem to find a way out. I craved to be of value, to be acknowledged and for others to understand the pain of it all. Yet I knew that was never going to be achieved. Now, I don't know if you've ever experienced any such debilitating feelings of worthlessness or ever felt you couldn't share your darkest moments with anybody so as to feel understood. It's hard. There's no two ways about it, and anybody that says that it's easy hasn't experienced it yet. But in the back of my mind, there has always been a belief in a higher plan. Despite living in the depths of many a black hole, there's always been two sides to me. One side desperately wanting to give up, and the other side encouraging me to seek a way forward. And deep down I felt there was a reason for it all, a purpose, or something in the distant future that on a conscious level I just wasn't even aware of it yet. And looking back now, I can see the tapestry that has been woven so far. I can see how I've helped so many other people to be on the right track and the impact that they're to have. Yet while I can see the full tapestry for other people and what their purpose is, the downside is I can't see my own full tapestry. But I do know this, our experiences are there for a reason. We can't see the reason at the time, but they are there for a reason. And they might not be a reason for ourselves, but they're a reason for others. There's always a reason why we're there in that moment. So if I was to give you any advice if you're experiencing a difficult time following a bereavement or a difficult financial situation or an illness or whatever it might be for you, there is hope. Or if you're trying to figure out why things are happening, I know it's not a consolation, but I do know that there's always a reason. You might not see it at the time, but looking back, you'll get to see it too. And remember, this time will pass, as does every new day. Everything follows a rhythm, and as night follows day, spring follows winter. Your life follows a rhythm. You can't force it to be summer when it's winter. While being in the moment and looking to the future, ask yourself what is the learning you're to get from this experience. Begin to write them down and list as many as possible. With this list of learnings, begin to reflect on each one and how you'll use it going forward for the better of yourself, your soul and for others. There's a reason for you to experience this situation. Just like going to university to get a degree, you too are living life to graduate. And each encounter that we have, each event that arises, and each feeling that we have is there because of our choosing so that we can fulfill our own desire to evolve as a soul. So instead of reacting to events that happen, maybe for a moment, step back from the event and ask yourself, what are you to learn? How is it going to help you in the future? What other possibilities does it open up for you? And how else can you manage it? When you do that, then the events and the moments change. Now, if this is something you would like to go deeper on and you would like me to guide you, then reach out to me and let's have a chat. All you need to do is just head over to theexecutivecode.com and get in touch. But before I go, I'll leave you with a quote from Corrie Ten Boom. Worry does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow. It empties today of its strength. When a train goes through a tunnel and it gets dark, You don't throw away the ticket and jump off. You sit still and trust the engineer. From me to you, until the next time, I wish you every success.